Hello and welcome to the Ally Invest Service Show. My name is Brian Overby. I am with Ally Invest, and I'll be your host for today's show. Our show's theme today is going to be charts and tools. We have with us Tamara Golub from our Ally Invest customer service desk. I will be demoing the actual charting and tools apps today. But with that mentioned, you are the ultimate drivers of content of this show. If you have any general questions about the platform, please start by putting them in the chat box right now on the right-hand side of the screen. I have to point out to you for privacy concerns that we can only answer general questions about the platform, and please do not put in any account information or contact information into the chat box for all to see. The goal of our show is to help out as much as we can in this open platform without compromising the safety and security of your accounts. Okay, so with that said, we're going to start with a topic that we talked about a couple of times. Last week, we had a big stock split in NVIDIA. This week, we're going to have what's called a reverse stock split in General Electric. So, Tamara, do you want to address that? What's exactly going to happen in our clients' accounts?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So for the GE, this will be a reverse stock split. With the reverse stock split, the number of shares in your account is reduced. This stock split for GE will be 1-for-8. This should happen. It should be updated after the market closes on July 30th. So come Monday morning, August 2nd, the price of GE should be increased, and also the number of shares in your account should be updated to reflect the 1-for-8 split. It could take an overnight update in our system to reflect it, but you should see that sometime next week, at the beginning of next week.
All right. So with that said, we do have a question that came up. First of all, somebody has given us some kudos. This has been very informative. I appreciate that. But Joshua, I'm not quite sure, Tamara. We can try to address this. We might have to get some help on a different show. But let me ask the question: Why does Ally not offer a tax loss harvesting option? Are you familiar with that? Because we don't really address tax questions overall. Tamara, do you have any ideas?
Unfortunately, I do not have any idea about that one. I know that for any tax-related questions, we do refer our clients to speak to a tax professional. We could do a little bit of research on that, Brian. Is that correct?
Yeah, we can try to answer it on a different show, but I don't have a good answer for that question overall. All right. So with that said, let's jump right into the show. I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to start by showing our charting platform. And what I have up is actually a chart that I've used also on the Ally Invest YouTube channel, or the Ally YouTube channel, I should say. We do what's called the stock play of the day. And a lot of people will ask me questions during the show about charts. So we thought we would take this moment to go through some of the features inside the charting platform. And the one feature that a lot of people just don't know about, I don't think we have it necessarily in the best spot, is we have a little video down here in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. It says View Charts Help Video. If you click on that, you can actually get a help video of me actually going through and demoing how to use the charts. But I want to show the more basic features inside the platform, how to save an actual screen, a setup that you have in your charts, and also go through some of the drawing tools and some of the features that are available. Right now, the chart that we're looking at is the Russell 2000 Index, the IWM. And this is a chart that I actually had set up during the stock play of the day and talked a little bit about it. These are some of the tools inside the charting platform that I actually like to use the most. So in here, we have a 20-day moving average, a 50-day moving average, and a 200-day moving average. And then I went out on a weekly basis. I looked at a longer-term chart and drew a trend line. And usually when you're drawing a trend line, you're grabbing a point that's usually a low, and then just sweeping out and coming to a point wherever you can see the bottom of the trend and see some touches there. So I'll show you how to set up these couple of little features, and then I'll show you a couple of other tools, and happy to answer any questions that you might have on the chart, or if there's a specific thing that you like the most about the charts. And then we'll come back. If we have some more time, we'll actually go through some of the option trading tools today too, like our profit and loss calculator. All right, so inside the charting platform, over here, you'll see a little drawing tool. If I click on that drawing tool, what happens the screen expands and I get a select tool situation. So I can go down and we have a plethora of different tools, including Fibonacci's. I do use Fibonacci's from time to time. So a Fibonacci tool, and I guess I could draw this on this chart here a little bit. We'll just go from the high over here. I can go in and I'll click Fibonacci. And this is one of the more advanced tools, but it's a very straightforward form of technical analysis. And I'm going to click on red. It will make the whole screen red while I'm doing this. And I'm going to actually increase the thickness of the line. So by clicking this drop-down button, I can actually increase the thickness. Now, I'm going to move the chart over. And all I'm doing right now is grabbing the mouse and moving it just a little bit. Now, that allows me a little bit of room to actually draw this Fibonacci pattern. So I'm going to go from the top of this channel, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to put my cursor on the bottom half. All right. So now once I do that, that highlights my Fibonacci numbers. So on the bottom half, this basically is the bottom of the channel. And on the way up, here's the 50% retracement, and then all the way up to the 100% retracement. But bottom line is, whenever I'm using any of these drawing features, what I want to do is get to the point where I want that drawing to start, click on it, and then go to the other location and click on it again. Now, if I want to remove it, there's two different ways that I can do that. I can go in and I can clear drawings. Very simple. It's going to get rid of everything, including that trend line. Or let's just work with the Fibonacci. You notice that if I put my mouse right here, it says right click to delete. So if I want to remove this fancy Fibonacci number, I can just right click and that will actually delete that from the chart. Now, I keep a couple of saved things in my charting, and I'm going to highlight this here, but these are some of the saved views that I have. In particular, I talk about the S&P 500 index, so I have a view just for that. But my biggest one is just moving averages. So if I go in and I close out this chart, let's go and start a whole new chart, okay? And clear all the drawings. And let's go to, let's try a stock like IBM. Just going to pick, now none of these stocks are meant to be recommendations. We're just using them for a charting platform. And I want to add some saved views. So if I go in and I pick a view that I have laid out for a particular chart, in this case, it's a 3-month chart that has a 20-day moving average, a 50-day moving average, and a 200-day moving average. If I click that, that's going to apply it to the current chart that I'm on. And then if I continue throughout the charts and the charting, let's go to Apple, you will see that this will actually keep that format all together. We have a 3-month chart once again that has a 50-day moving average, and 50-day, 20-day, and a 200-day moving average overall. All right, so now if I want to adjust this, and let's add an indicator in here, and I'm going to click on this. 1 second here. Why am I not moving? Okay, here we go. And let's add a MACD to my chart. So now I'm going to go down and add, and the most commonly used indicators are here. There are a lot of them, so this makes it very easy. RSI, MACDs are very popular. If I scroll down to the actual list of indicators, there are too many to actual cover, but almost everything is in there. We've never had anybody ask for something that we actually didn't have inside the charting platform. Oh, 1 second. All right. I'm getting a few questions, but I have to do something real quick. So Tamara, is there no way to see a chart showing the daily performance? Tamara, do you think you can answer that looking at a daily performance? Do you have any idea? I'm going to have to step out for 1 second or my computer's going to shut off. Give me 1 second. All right.
Take this one. Thank you.
Yeah.
So on your charts, it is possible to change the length of what is displayed on your screen. So right underneath where you can see, you put in your symbol, you can see where it says 1D, 5D, 1M. Those are indicators of what time frame you want to see on your screen. So the D is for daily, M is for monthly, and Y is for yearly. You can also, on the bottom of the chart screen, you can expand it with your mouse by dragging it back and forth. So that'll also zoom in or zoom out on the time period.
I can highlight a lot of those things now that Tamara was just talking about. So here's my MACD. So I'll just add a MACD, and I'm going to show you how to save that period. And then I'll address a few of the questions that came in the chat box. But so once I go in and I add that MACD to the account, you see it, or I should say to the chart. At the bottom half of the chart, you will see the MACD. Now you can adjust all these. We default to the 12, 26, 9, whatever numbers you feel comfortable with. I don't want to get into detail as to how you would set up a MACD. I usually just go with the default numbers. But now if I go in on saved views and I click save view, it's that simple. Now we're going to put a name in here. We're going to call it MACD. We'll just call it MAC, M-A-C. And I will save that chart. Now, once again, if I go into a different underlying, and let's put in, this time we'll stick with the FANG stocks, I guess. We'll go Google, and I click on Google here. That will actually draw that chart. And you'll see that now that I have this saved view, I have the MACD. I also have the 200, the 50, and the 20-day moving average. So this is one of the most used features inside the chart, is to be able to actually save a particular format of charts that's going to have everything below the chart saved and everything that's actually being drawn on the chart at the same time. All right, so let's go back and show at daily performance of your entire account. Is there no way to see a chart? This is from username, I guess, is love something, so we'll just call it love. We're getting a lot of love from love here, and love is saying, is there no way to see a chart showing daily performance of your entire account? And no, not at this point in time. You can't go on in and have your entire account being charted. You can, if you're trying to say, you can take your holdings and set up particular charts the way that you want to. Now watch, if I go back to the IWM, for example, let me go back, you will still see the trend line. Well, actually we wiped it out, didn't we? You would still see the trend line that we had drawn in it. So it will remember trend lines that you have. So if you have particular trend lines that you've drawn on holdings, it will remember it. But there's no way to actually just pull up all of your individual stocks that you have inside your holdings. Not at this time overall. All right, so now Fibonacci sequence is not a business statistic discipline. All right, that's fine. 200-day moving average. What is realized gain loss? GI is asking, what is realized gain loss? Gee, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Are you looking at realized gain loss inside your account as far as just flat out profit and loss overall? But we'll just keep going along with the charts. So I'm not quite sure what that question would be. Tamara, can you show realized gain loss inside your account?
You can see it on the holdings page, but I don't see that as an option to see it on the charts as well. But on the holdings page, you can see your realized, I'm sorry, not the holdings page. There is a realized gain and loss tab right under investment accounts. And if you click on that, that'll show you your specific account's realized gain and loss.
All right. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see this inside the chart overall. All right. If you have any other questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box. Right now, I guess I'll address a couple more things inside the chart, and then we'll bounce on over and we'll look at some of the option tools overall. Okay, so other things that you can control inside our charts. I'll go to a 1-year chart, and I'm going to set up a daily chart in IWM. So if I go 1 year and on display, or I'm sorry, on intervals, I can do a 1 minute chart, which would be a real-time streaming 1 minute chart, 5 minute chart, 10-minute chart, or on a longer time period, we could do a 1 day chart if you would like, or a weekly chart. So I'll change this to weekly right now. And that's how the actual weekly looks in the IWM. And if I were to draw the trend line, let's go and draw the trend line right back that we were looking at before. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to use the ray feature to draw that trend line. And I'm going to change up the color once again. So I click here, and that allows me a color spectrum. I'm going to click on this. That makes that red. I'm going to actually make it a thicker line. And I'm going to go and scroll down on this position, and I go there and I draw to the next point where I actually touch. And this is how I'm drawing that trend line overall. And now if you draw the trend line as a ray, what actually ends up happening is you'll see it extends all the way. So if you pull the screen over by just clicking and moving to give yourself a little bit more room, that ray will extend all the way to the end of the chart overall. Now, if you want to do trend lines, you can actually go in and maybe you're trying to look at the breakout point here based off of on the high end of the channel. I can go in and instead of clicking ray, I can actually do a horizontal line. We'll keep it the same color. I'm going to put my point right here on the high in the IWM, and I'll click on that. And that will actually do a horizontal bar all the way across the screen. Next, if we want to do channeling, very simple thing, once again, is we instead of clicking horizontal, we'll go on in and we'll actually click on channel. And then we'll start by clicking on the top end of the channel. Oops. And go down to the bottom end of the channel. So whatever type of tool that I want to do, what I'm basically doing is picking my point where I want to draw this channel, click on it, go to the point where I want the channel to end, and click on it again, and it will draw that channel. If I want to remove this line, just right click and it goes away. Or I can run over here and just click clear drawings. Now, if I clear drawings, it's not going to clear my moving averages, my MACD. It's only going to clear the drawings that I actually have on the screen. All right, we've got a couple of more questions that have popped in. Okay, can I use the chart to compare against another security or index? Yes, we can. We can do that. So we have the IWM here. Let's compare that versus the SPY. That would be a good comparison. IWM is the Russell 2000 index. If we want to compare it against the SPY, we just click compare, put in the symbol. The SPY would be the ETF that tracks the S&P 500 index. I click SPY. And once we do that, it will do it on we're going to go to a 1 year basis. And you'll see on a 1 year basis, this will draw and it will show you the SPY versus the chart that you currently have on. So right now we're seeing the SPY is up 37% this year. And it shows that we're starting basically at the exact same point on the left-hand side of the chart. And then we have our normal chart that we've already had. Now, a lot of people, if I'm going to be doing this comparison, I might go in and adjust my display. And instead of doing a bar chart, we'll go on in and set up a line chart. So now we are comparing apples to apples overall, if you will. So I'm looking at the blue line is going to be the SPY, and the white line is going to be the IWM. And that will show a comparison on the performance so far this year in the SPY versus the IWM overall. All right, great question. Appreciate it. I think I addressed most of it. You can actually add another, I think you can add another symbol if you want. Okay, let me think about another ETF. Let's go XLF. That's a financial one. But when you add more, the chart becomes pretty I don't know what to say, clustered overall. But one other thing that I should highlight is that if you add these other charts, we're actually, because you're comparing stocks, you're doing it on a percentage basis. And usually they'll look at the beginning of the year versus a point basis. So we see like the SPY being up 37% overall. We have the XLF that's up about 50% overall since the beginning of the year. And that's the financial stocks. That's which one that one tracks.
Brian, I have a question. Right now you're showing the SPY and XLF, both are blue color. Are you able to change the colors on them?
That's a good question. I think I can by clicking on the line. Let me try. No, I don't. I actually, it's assigning that color, and I don't think that I can remove it right now. Let me try clearing the drawings. Yeah, I don't have that option. So start with, I cannot change the color once it assigns it in the comparison feature.
Thank you. But if you scroll over it, it'll show you what.
Yes. So this is the SPY, this is the XLF, and this one is the IWM.
Thank you for that, Brian.
No problem. All right, let me see if we have any more questions. All right, if you have any questions, please let me know. Put them in the chat box. Willing to try to answer as many as we can. Okay, we have one from Mitch here. Mitch, is LI thinking about trading partial shares besides drips? So right now we do offer the ability to reinvest dividends, and the acronym for that is drips. That means that if you set up your account for drips and a stock pays a dividend, we'll automatically reinvest it. But I'll pass it back to Tamara to talk a little bit about the ability to buy partial shares overall.
Thank you, Brian. Unfortunately, we don't have that ability at this moment. Again, the only way to have partial shares in your account is through the DRIP, the dividend reinvestment program. I'm not aware that we will get that in the future, but that's something that definitely we can pass along to our trading team. That's an option. That'll be a great addition.
Right. Overall. And then we got to, overall, we are definitely looking into that ability. I know that I've been in a few discussions about that overall, if we're going to offer the ability to buy a partial share. And most of the people that would be doing it would be looking like at Google or Amazon, a fairly highly priced underlying stock. But right now we don't have that capability overall. We can show, and I can highlight this, I can show you how to set up your drips if you would like to talk about that, which is the dividend reinvestment. In this test account that I have right now, I actually have it up and running. But if you want to set that up, we're going to go to all settings. Anytime you see a gear icon, you probably want to click on it. It's a good way to learn the site because it's going to show you what's behind the screen, what's behind what's actually going on. So if I click that and I click all settings, this takes me to the global settings for the Ally Invest Live platform. And the drips, or the dividend reinvestment, is actually at the very bottom of the settings. So I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll see dividend reinvestment. And it's actually turned on in this test account, meaning that it will buy partial shares overall, but it is not a... but it will not, it doesn't mean that it will allow me to buy a partial share of a stock like Google overall, or Alphabet is the real name nowadays. And then there's a few other features that are around here. You can enroll in the FDIC insured sweep program, which will actually give you a little bit higher interest rate. You can click on that and that will enroll it. And also you can learn more about the securities income program, which we've talked about on our daily service show a couple of times. If you sign up for that, that gives you an opportunity to also earn some more income by loaning out some of your shares of the stock to people that actually like to sell stock shorts overall. So that's another opportunity. Might want to click on this button and learn a little bit more about it. All right, let's see what we have. I got another question here. Ms. Golub, the 1 day, 5 day, 1 minute, etc. Still over. All right, let me start this one over. I'm going to bend back a little bit here. I don't want to lean forward too much. 1 day, 5 day. Now individual tickers are changing over time. I'm asking if there is a tool to visualize, review performance of your entire account over time. Okay, is there a tool somewhere inside the platform that will allow you to visualize your entire account performance over time?
Unfortunately, we don't have a tool to show your performance of the securities in your account at this moment. Again, on this chart tool, you can manually put in the symbols that you possibly have in your holdings and just compare them that way. But it does not give a overall performance of your account and how it's doing.
All right. You can see some short-term and long-term gain loss events overall. But it doesn't show the entire account for the life of the account overall. So I'm highlighting something right now. And to get there, you want to go to your invest accounts. You can go right where you would investment accounts, not invest accounts, investment accounts tab. And you look at the holdings and balances. If you scroll down a little bit, we do have a tax center. We have a very good tax center to help you out with your taxes. We will allow you to download information to things like an Excel file and other different tax softwares overall. But we do show you realized gains loss on a yearly basis. And these are realized overall. They're not the performance that is going on directly in your account. Right now on stocks that you own. Like, for example, if you have owned Apple for quite a while and you might have a gain in your account, if you want to see where that gain would be on a today basis, you got to go to your holdings page. But if you have a realized, and realized means that I bought and sold it, I can go and look at I can look at it for last year, and I can look at it for the performance so far this year by going to investment accounts and clicking on realized gain loss overall. All right. I hope that helps a little bit on the questions. But no, we don't have a tool that's going to show your account performance for since the beginning of time, not inside the Ally Invest Live platform. Okay, I've just heard my question answered by Brian. Yeah, it is something. Just overall, Love is just commenting on our question overall. Yeah, this is something that a lot of people will ask about. Realized gain loss is a big part of your brokerage account, and also inside your holdings page, you can see how this one particular position can be doing overall. It will show you based off of your cost basis for that underlying stock and what the performance on that stock is overall. None of this is available inside the charts. All right, so I'm getting a little bit long-winded here. We're right at the 10:30 hour. If you have any other questions, put them in the chat box. I could run and show the profit and loss calculator and the options tools, but I think I might save that for a later date. Do you have any other questions? If you do, please put them in the chat box. All right. So Kristen is back and is asking about the GE reverse split, Tamara. It says, so what day will I see the GE split reflected in my account? So after the reverse split actually happens, when will you actually see the adjustment to the shares inside your holdings page?
That's a great question, Kristen. So you should see the number of shares reflected and adjusted in your account by Monday or with an overnight update, because sometimes it could be a little bit delayed on how it's reflected in our system. It could be by Tuesday. You should see the number of shares reflected, and the price of the stock for sure will be updated on Monday morning, August 2nd.
All right. Well, that is the last question. I see no more other questions inside the chat box. So that's going to be it for this session of the Ally Invest Daily Service Show. If you'd like to get all the reminders for all of our shows, we'll be back next Monday. Well, actually, this one coming up Monday, we're going to actually take we're going to actually not be here on August 2nd, but we will be back on August 9th doing the show once again. If you want to get all the reminders, please make sure you click subscribe and ring the bell, and we'll update you for all the things inside the Ally YouTube channel. Thanks for coming, everyone.